It is 2026, men, and happy new year. By the way, I want to appreciate the 860 plus people who have subscribed to this channel since we did our resumption back last year in 2025 at around the month of, I guess it was, is it August or something? Yeah. We have been having amazing editions last year. We had editions on purpose, we had editions on therapy, meditation, mindset, and all that. We're just trying to build the foundation of 2026, and I know that this year is going to be an amazing year for us. It's going to be an amazing year for you. Our viewers will be bringing you more and more amazing conversation. But guys, it's 2026 and it's time for us to do a deep moment reflection about life, about money, about purpose, career, and the mindset that we really need for us to succeed and also to achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves in this 2026. So in this episode today, I'm going to share with you the biggest lessons I walked away with last year. Lessons that can transform your life financially, mentally, and spiritually. For me, last year was a year that I had a lot of opportunities to learn, to explore, to observe. I think the biggest way I did learn was through observation. And ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, before we get into the conversation, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, as we begin the year, it's my humble request that hit the subscribe button, like this video, and also leave us a comment in the comment section. Have you set goals for 2026, or are you going to build systems that will help you achieve the goals this 2026? I've been thinking a lot. I think I've been setting goals the wrong way. Sometimes when the year is beginning, we tell ourselves I'm going to do a number of things. So you're going to set a goal of, let's say, around 10 goals that you want to achieve that year. But I think the biggest lesson I picked from last year is that you just need to set like 2 or 3 goals, or even one goal, and then build a system that is going to help you achieve this goal. So building systems in 2026 is what I'm going to advocate for, rather than you setting goals this 2026. Now, ladies and gentlemen, number one thing that I picked from last year is that it's not about lack of money, it's management. This was one of the biggest wake-up calls for me. I remember the one who gave me this a lesson. She told us, I want you to go and download your M-Pesa statement for the last 12 months. How much money did you receive? Can you account for where this money went? So I realized the things that I wanted to do. I had, I think it was nearly a half of the amount that I needed to achieve, or to get the things that will help me achieve the goals that I had set last year. Because I'm telling you, we set goals, but we don't build the system to achieve the goals. So for instance, this podcast, we built it last year. I had money to get the gadgets. But since I had no plan, I had no system in place to help me achieve the goal of getting the gadgets to run the podcast, I focused on the goal the most. I forgot the system. So I could not account for where I was not able to achieve the goal to the maximum level that I wanted to achieve the goal. Most people don't suffer from lack of money. Most of us suffer because of lack of management of the money we have. You see, money is not the problem always. Our system is the problem. We receive money, we make money, we get money, you are paid, you have your salary, but the system of managing this money is what we don't have, and that is now the problem. You see, where you start is not where you must complete. The end goal usually determines how you're getting there. You see, if you want to leave Kakamega, or if you want to leave Kenya for Dubai, what you do is you'll plan your trip very well, organize the clothes you want to carry, book a flight. This is now the system that is getting you to Dubai. But what about your money? Your money comes, you party it out, you spend it, buy things, but you have not yet set a system that says, out of this money, 30% is going on my investment, 20% is going on my savings, 50% is going on my daily essentials. So sometimes it's not the lack of money. I personally was forced to sit down with my patterns, to study and analyze how I make money, how I handle my money, and how fear of the unknown stopped me from even trying to get other opportunities of making money. I remember I once told you this story, that I had a friend of mine who gave me an opportunity to make money. And since everyone was saying, this is a scam, that is a scam, that is a scam, I never got an opportunity to actualize it. And I ended up losing an opportunity. But anyway, there's still an opportunity for me to learn the skill. But you see, time has already gone. If I'd done it that time, maybe things would have been different. So sometimes the fear of the unknown can make us stop doing what we have to do to change our life. The second lesson I picked from last year was the gap between expectation and reality. And here is where I was introduced to the growth model, the grow model. And actually this changed how I approach my goals, how I approach the things that I want to achieve in life. You see, grow is a word that entails like 4 characters. We have G, which stands for goal. What exactly do you want? We have the R, which stands for the reality. Where are you honestly? Yes, I want to do this. But where am I right now? Then we have the O, which stands for options. These are the obstacles and the opportunities that exist that will help you achieve your goal. These are the things that are your reality, the opportunities and the obstacles. Then we have the W. The W stands for willingness. This is, are you ready to put in the work for you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? Goals are not dreams. Okay, these are not things you sleep and dream about. Goals must be smart, and when you say smart, the goals must be specific, they must be measurable, they must be achievable, they must be realistic, they must be time bound, they must be ethical, and they must be rewarding. If your goal is not smart, if your goal, if you put it in the prism of the smartness of the goal, it does not meet the criteria of smartness of a goal, then that is not a goal. And this forced me to check on myself. Am I vague on my ambition, or am I intentional? Am I setting goals the right way? Am I building systems to achieve the goal, or I'm just writing things down? And I remember I did a podcast with one of my friends. She's called Wanjiku Amwiruri. You have done 2 episodes with her. I'll attach the links to the episode on this video. And she told me, Derrick, sometimes, she's a psychologist, and she was telling me, Derrick, sometimes you should not supposed to set goals. Like, she does not subscribe to the idea that, it's January, here are my New Year's resolution. You write down 10 things that you want to achieve. Life is unpredictable. Life changes. Things arise. I think she told me that the best thing for you to do is for you to sit down and set things based on what you can do at that time. So, after learning the growth model, after understanding the gap between expectations and reality, I am now clear, or I have the clarity when it comes to setting the right goals. The other thing that I learned last year is refining my goals. You see, for the goals to be achieved, you need to set a system. And setting system means you need to break down your next 3 phases of life. How do you break your 3 phases of life? You need to break your goals this way. What is the professional goal that you want to achieve? Is it a promotion? Is it getting a certificate on something? Then you need to set a social goal. What are the things you want to achieve socially? After setting a social goal, you need to set a personal goal. You need to learn and master something that is going to help you personally. And sometimes I realize when I go through the list of people of New Year's resolutions, we just write down things, we just jolt down things that come in mind. This year I want to travel to Dubai, this year I want to get a promotion, but how am I going to get the promotion? If I'm going to set a professional goal that I want to get a promotion, I'm going to sit down. What do I need to get this promotion? Is it I adding another level on my degree? Is it I doing something concerning my education? On my personal goal, I want to add another stream of income. What am I going to do to add another stream of income? On my social goal, like, you see, and all these things, you need to set a timeline on them. You see, the problem is we set so many goals and expect to achieve them within 12 months. Sometimes it's good just to set, and here is where the principle that was given to me by Wanjiku Amwiruri makes sense, that you need to set a number of, let's say, 3 goals. 1 professional goal, 1 social goal, 1 personal goal. Then give them timelines. That this professional goal, I want to give it 2 years. That in the next 2 years, I want to achieve a promotion. So in these 2 years, I'm going to focus on building my capacity to the level of meeting the criteria that is needed for a promotion. A social goal, I'm going to give myself these 12 months to have built a community of people where people are coming to learn something new. That in the next 10 months, this personal goal of mine, I'm going to learn trading. I'm going to become a trader within the next 12 months. Once you put a timeline on these goals, you have set your professional, your social and personal goal, it's going to be easy for you to achieve the goals that you have set for that year. The fourth thing I picked last year was the actions I must take. You see, we set goals. We usually come up with great goals that we want to achieve in a year. But what are the actions that we're going to take for us to achieve this goal? And this is where we come with the notion of you need a system. Because systems are the set of actions that will help you achieve the goals that you have set for yourselves in that year. You see, the price of your dream is always upfront, and sometimes being ready to pay the price really matters than you not paying the price. So we usually set goals and we expect miracles to happen that will help us achieve these goals without us realizing that there is a price for us to pay. I know some of our goals entail us having money for them to be achieved. Let's say for this podcast to run successfully, we need a number of equipments. We need cameras, we need lights, we need camera people, we need human resource in short. And last year, someone introduced me to something called the 4 F's of finance. The 4 F's of finance is the things or the places where you get your money from, okay? And the first, I'm going to give you the 4 F's. So the first F is the financial institution. These are banks, circles. These are the places you can get a loan, you can get something that can give you money. They can give you money and then you'll pay it back later for you to achieve a goal. So we have got the financial institution. The second F of finance are friends. These are people who can support you. You can collaborate with them and then they can support your goal. You can meet someone, give them an idea, and then they can in return help you build that legacy. So that was the second F. The third F is the family. This is the first circle of trust, okay? Your family are people who can come in whenever you need them. Someone in your family can decide, let me get you this. I have this 10,000 shillings. I'm not doing with it anything. Let me give this to you. And then the last F of finance, which is the most funniest of all, is something we call the fools. Sometimes you see, you just need someone crazy enough to believe in you, okay? You just meet someone who says, I really like your idea. I really like it. How can I help you? And then the person decides to invest in you. So that is the fourth F of finance. And it's not the fools of the negative sense, but these are people who take risks on you before you show results. And sometimes you getting the fools is the most crucial thing that you can do in life, because these are people who believe in you before the results accumulate, because they see the vision, they see the clarity of the vision, they believe in the vision, and they know that if they can just offer you support, if they can open this door for you, then things can go very clearly. And sometimes entering 2026, as you're setting goals, as you're building a system to achieve those goals, put in mind the 4 F's of finance: financial institution, friends, family, and fools. And see how can these 4 F's of finance help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve in life. Treat these 4 F's of finance as the systems that you need for you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve in life. I think the biggest lesson, or one of the biggest lessons I picked last year, was that many times our biggest obstacle is resources. We think we don't have enough. But when you sit down, do an analysis, you realize that resources is not even our obstacle. Our largest obstacle in life is discipline. The discipline of saving, the discipline of budgeting, the discipline of learning. We don't have the discipline, we don't have the patience to go through a season of learning, to go through a season of building capacity to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. So as you sit down this 2026, as you personalize to achieve the things that you want to achieve this 2026, ask yourself, do I have the discipline to achieve the goals that I want to achieve? Because success only comes when opportunity meets preparation. And preparation comes when you are disciplined, because discipline is the key. Are you disciplined enough to maintain running a podcast despite you getting less than 100 views? Are you disciplined enough? And I've learned a lot in life in 2025 that it takes time. Whatever is great can take even a year to show. People don't see the downside of the thing you're building. But that does not mean you need to quit. That means you need to continue building. You see, The value people feel when they interact with you is what matters the most. So try so hard to build the value. The other concept I picked from last year as I near the end of this video is something called VAT and VAE. The value adding and the value adding time. What time do we actually spend producing results? We spend our days saying we are very busy rather than spending our days saying we are productive. Sometimes being busy is not being productive. You need to be more productive than being busy. So as we begin 2026, I want you to know something. Stress is never the problem. The problem is pressure being bigger than your resources. And as much as you are going to be busy, you need to understand how to manage pressure so that you become productive rather than becoming busy. And if you want to do stress control very well, this is a concept Mercy taught me. You need the ABC model of stress management. A stands for awareness, B stands for balance, C stands for control. When you improve your awareness and balance, control follows naturally. So you need to be aware of the things that stress you, the things that make you sound like you're very busy about life instead of being productive. The moment you're aware, you find the balance, the control will come naturally. As we end this, I want you to evaluate something called the wheel of life. I want you to rate yourself in a scale of 1 to 10 in these aspects of life. I want you to rate yourself, number 1, business or career. How far have you achieved? Finance, health, family and friends, romance, personal growth, fun and recreation, and physical environment. The goal this year is not perfection. The goal this year is finding balance. The goal this year is building system to achieve the goal. Last year wasn't just educational for me. It was transformational for me. It made me question how I manage my time, my money, my relationships, my career, and even my purpose. So as we begin 2026, my family, my audience, my community, I hope these lessons will help you reflect on your own journey of life. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like, you share, and subscribe for more content that rewires the way you think about wealth, purpose, and success. Also, let me know this year, what are some of the conversations you want us to have right in this channel? What are some of the guests, or who are some of the guests you want to see on this channel? This year, I'm telling you one thing. This year, Financially Rewired podcast is going to break the barriers. And it's going to become the number 1 podcast to help you transform your mind, not only in Kenya, but in Africa and globally. Till I see you in the next episode, keep rewiring your brain for greatness.